I'm sorry, love. I'm so sorry that you've lost love again. Me too. I'm so broken up about it. I'm just like, I can't even believe that somebody so great could walk into my life and walk right out for such stupid reasons. But let's look at this, okay? Let's look. There's three scenarios I want you to consider in terms of the loss of love and the regaining of it. We're in the lost and found story of great love, okay? So the first scenario is that this person and you had this amazing, loving time in the beginning, and but actually all the enjoyments and appreciations and awe of each other were based on fantasies you both had that actually had nothing to do with the reality of the person. And eventually, it didn't even take that long, you kind of discover that, wow, they're not that way that I projected was the thing I loved about them. They're actually the opposite. And now both people don't like each other, or maybe they just don't like you. They're like, they went from all this love of you into all this dislike of you. And the thing is, the first love was not love because it wasn't even knowing you, and it wasn't even love of anything you actually are, because it was all projection and fantasy. And so the dislike of you is valid because now they've gotten to know you and they realize you're not a fit. You're not like compatible at all. So be glad you lost that one if it's that way, okay? Be glad, because it was never love in the first place, so you didn't lose love. And when they discovered who you really are, they hated you. And that's the last thing you need. Okay. All right, let's look at scenario number two. Scenario number two is you have this incredibly loving time, and you do see each other. You do recognize who each other are. You have complete, like, oh my God, I finally met you, you know? You have this amazing time. And it keeps going, and there's more and more dimensions to it. And you can't even believe how lucky you are. Has your prayer finally been met, right? But then life's interference comes. Now, it can be in the form of gossip. It can be, that happened to me one time. Some people gossiped against me and totally disoriented the man who I was destined at that time. I was my fiance. He just they gutted it. They were both an ex-lover and an ex-woman friend of mine who hated me decided to corner him when he had come to join his life with me and talk him out of it, and they did. So interference happens, right? It can be like a, 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 a ghost. It could be like something that spooks the person and then they identify it with you. It can be just a triggering, an emotional triggering. Their stuff comes up. We know that happens after a little while. People's issues come up, and then how we deal with it. Like if we take offense, we're giving as much offense as anything else. So the interference comes up, and now suddenly they don't like you, or you don't like them. There's this opinion about you, and it's all coming from the mind. You both of you have come out of the heart into mind of fears and dramas and psychological sort of cages you've put each other in. And oh my God, it's so terrible. Now it's like gone from heaven to hell, and it's all over with, right? In that case, you have the love in the beginning was true and real. It was based on who you really are. And the discord, the dislike, was based on lies and false assumptions, false illusions of based on fears and the mind's projections of, we're getting into vulnerable, intimate territory. I'm going to do the thing I do, which is to sabotage or pull back or judge it or get scared. So in that scenario, you could say, well, true love was there, and perhaps the interference, is worth fighting through, and the love that really is there is worth fighting for. Okay. But how do you do that? Because it seems like it's all over with already. Like the mind came, the interference came, and everything sacred that was built was taken. All right, now let's look at the third scenario of lost and found love. In this scenario, uh, you have this beautiful connection of love, and it is based on real things. It is based on really seeing each other. Your relationship has gone farther and faster. In 2 days you've gone through 2 years of relationship because you've shared so much, and you've moved very quickly, and the second time together is even more so. Now you've gotten in what, like a total of 8 days, it's like you've been through 4 years of relationship, and you're already kind of moving out of the romance stage and through the power stage, and now you're in the stage of who each other really are. And you get there to, whoa, wait a second, I just came up against something that I don't like about this person, or I don't understand, or I'm projecting that what that means is this thing from my past, so I'm gonna assume I'm never gonna do that again. And all of this kind of, ricocheting is there. But you break up, and then you're from a little bit of a distance, you realize, wait a second, I haven't, that poor person, what they've been through. This compassion comes in where you realize who they really are, and what they really need, and what you weren't giving, and what you could give, and what your potential is. And now you come back to each other, and this time it's in order to know each other. It's in order to find out more. And as you find out more, they really are way different than you thought, but they're also way more wondrous and deep and complex. And now what starts coming in is this kind of desire to question, yourself, this self-growth that they cause, this compassion you feel, that you just want forgiveness in the story. You want companionship that is not based on fantasies or have to have this or that. It's actually based on the fact that you adore this person. You want to be with them. They want to be with you, despite the things that they are not going to get, or they thought were true and weren't, because some of them weren't true and some of them were. Now you're in the story of an actual relationship beginning that's all about who you are, who you're getting to know each other's real truth, and actually being there for each other as friends, and listening deeply, talking from the heart, not assuming that you know that other person, that you can just categorize them. I mean, because like, uh, categories are funny, because usually when we criticize people, the real truth is that we are what we see in other people. That's sort of how you get an idea of somebody else's. It's because it's in you. So if you're seeing greatness, it's probably because you're great. So love, darling, I pray for us all to make it through that interference, where we actually move into the space of, oh shit, this is who you really are. These are things that are hard for me. I'd like to work on this and that, where you learn that nonviolent communication is called NVC. It's Marshall Rosenberg created a great system for people navigating difference and criticalness, so that they aren't tearing apart each other and assessing each other and putting each other in boxes. Like, that skill set will help you for your whole life if you learn NVC. But it's not easy to really do it, because it's tempting always to, use words like, yeah, but you betrayed me, you abandoned me, you manipulated, you controlled. It's ED words that are actually not feelings. They're about the other person, where you're saying what they are. You forgot, you Me, but the thing is, the feeling is different. It's like I felt so powerless. I felt so afraid. When you did this, I felt so trapped. I felt so um overjoyed, frightened, or angry. And the main thing is anger, because anger can ruin a relationship if it shatters people's closeness, if the anger is aimed at the other person to harm them. But anger itself, the righteous anger people need to feel to express their whole truth and what really works and doesn't work for them, that has to be allowed in the relationship and figured out, so that it's not ever an arrow going at the other person. It's actually owned. I feel so angry right now, because I feel so misunderstood and put in a box, in this misunderstanding that we're having. And I am so angry because I want us to be close again. The anger feeling, that's the energy of wood that pushes up through the earth. Is in ancient Chinese medicine, it's about anger. Every one of the elements has their emotional quality. Like the earth element has the quality of sympathy, but it also has this sort of thing about oh, poor me, and wanting sympathy all the time. Like, we each have our elemental resonance, and mine is wood, which is anger. So if somebody is annoyed with the quality of an angry sound in my voice, it's going to be pretty annoyed, because either I have total suppression of my anger, or I have just this raw energy that comes out in everything I do. It's a little bit pushy, because I'm a wood person. But that doesn't mean I'm angry all the time, or that I actually want to push anybody. It's just a pushing energy of creativity, of birth, of constant birth, right? So, like a metal person, it would be grief. They've got this sort of sad, crying, weeping sound in their voice a lot, and they need to feel their grief in order to be them. And you can't say to a metal person, just be peppy, just be happy, because they're deep. Let's see a couple of others for you. Well, fire being, love and joy and connectedness, or total lack of fire, total lack of connectedness. Suddenly they're cut off. You could say water. Water would be, the water people resonate fear or awe. So it's either like, and each one has its opposite. So anger goes to peace, and sympathy goes to compassion, and the joy goes to emptiness, and the grief goes to value, praise, and the fear goes to awe. Right? So in our healthy aspect, when our water is not full of fear, it's full of awe. And since all of us are made of all of the 5 elements, we need to constantly be balancing our emotions and those qualities of ourself, right? So, how about that? I forgot what I was talking about completely. Oh, oh God. What was I talking about? I don't know. All right. Well, have a nice day, everybody. Sorry for being forgetful.